the ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
No guessing, just catching. New Explore Series fish finders keep you locked on fish with unbeatable clarity, best-in-class imaging options, and a stunning ultra-bright HD screen. There's more to explore, only with Humminbird.
It's Thursday, May 1st, 2025. Spring Tog has ended as of Wednesday, and this Sunday, May the 4th, summer flounder season, fluke, reopens for another year at the Jersey Shore. I'm Jim Hutchinson with a New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine, and while striped bass, it's an absolute favorite this time of year for saltwater anglers around these parts, summer flounder remains what I've always said, the straw that stirs the drink. Yeah, that's the old Reggie Jackson thing. Hate Reggie Jackson, but I mean, I'm not supposed to hate, I dislike him. The straw that stirs the drink, fluke. And it comes up every year in the surveys from the Fisherman magazine. We send out surveys every spring just to get an idea of what you want, what you need, what you like. And again, summer flounder comes up as the #1 species every single year. Now, if you were to ask Google AI, the artificial intelligence tool that all the pundits say is going to eventually replace jerks like me, it would give you the general regulations. Guess AI doesn't seem to understand the fisheries management process. We don't have general regulations. We have very specific regulations. And if AI doesn't understand the fisheries management process, well, they're just like many of the rest of us. But our limits have generally changed in the past from year to year, but not since we established, and it wasn't me, it was the fisheries managers at the ASMFC and the Mid-Atlantic Fishery Management Council, and especially Captain Adam Nowalski here in New Jersey. With the help of ASA's Mike Wayne, we've got this harvest control rule that sets our season size and bag for 3 years at a clip. So one more season, this season, of this particular season size and bag. Now, while the experimental generative AI might recommend bloodworms and clams as popular baits for summer flounder, if you're fluking on Sunday, here's the deal. No doubt, 3 or 4 inch gulp or fish bites grubs, perhaps a live killie, a diamond strip. I like to strip out those pieces of squid in a long pendant, and I like to fork the tail, and I like to soak them in Finessence cheddar oil, but those are the keys to catching some fluke on Sunday. Geez, whatever happened to this world? We use degenerate AI. Generative AI. Look up the Pennsylvania striped bass regulations, Delaware River, and see what Google AI gives you. It gives you the wrong answer. It's one striper, 22 to less than 26 inches through the end of this month, from the Pennsylvania side of the Delaware River, from the Calhoun Street Bridge to the PA state line. Then it goes back to 28 to 31. So there's the inherent problem with AI. AI to me is always going to be the greatest, one of the greatest Philadelphia 76ers ever. Allen Iverson, pound for pound, the best fighting Sixers forward that ever played the game. Rather than getting your how-to information and regulatory updates from artificial intelligence, I hope you're getting the Fisherman magazine delivered to your home every month, with that digital weekly arriving in your email box every Monday. And when you see the monthly edition, that May edition of the Fisherman that I have here under my tackle going through it for fluke season, drum on the cover, of course, you're going to get some black drum tips inside. You'll also get my article inside the local edition, New Jersey, Delaware Bay, on fishing those back bays for summer flounder or fluke. This Sunday. Now, I got a message from William Coppola on Saturday night. He was plugging the Manasquan, looking for stripers, must have been casting a reel in low and slow, but he ended up with a jumbo fluke. It was just a few days short of the legal time period, so he released it. And those are 4 of the fillets that I happen to be looking for on Sunday. So yeah, think shallow, think flats, edges outside of the creeks, or maybe even inside a good creek if you can get in there. But if you read my article that quotes some of the outstanding Rutgers researchers who have studied summer flounder for a long time in the estuaries, specifically Great Bay, the fact is that many of these summer flounder are moving into our estuaries as early as March, also into April. This was a colder winter as far as the ocean water, so maybe it was a little later. But thanks to William there with that fish from Manasquan, we know that the fluke are there. Summer flounder, typically summer flounder south of Barnegat Inlet. Fluke for everybody else. It's at Oyster Creek dividing line. That's where Mets, Phillies, Eagles, Giants, and fluke flounder seems to exist. Conditions for Sunday look like this. And I use the middle of the Jersey Shore. If you fold the map of the coastal area of New Jersey, take Sandy Hook and fold it to the tip of Cape May, the middle area is going to be Brant Beach. Try it sometime. But right there in the Little Egg, Tuckerton area, outgoing tide at sunrise. Sunrise, by the way, is a little bit before 6. So we have 6 a.m. sunrise on Sunday morning, the last few hours of the outgoing tide, and possibly any rain that we're supposed to get on Sunday isn't supposed to pop up until later in the afternoon. That's as far as looking at the midweek weather forecast here at the Jersey Shore. Now we look down into the Delaware Bay. As far as the marine conditions, it appears the wind's supposed to switch from southwest to west overnight, Saturday into Sunday, then west, northwest, Sunday morning. Take that into consideration for your Sunday morning drifts and weather. You may have to deploy the Minn Kota trolling motor to get yourself through any wind against tides, but it shouldn't be too difficult to find some fish in that skinny water. I'm looking at everything that I've got. I always talk about the floating jig heads. Go check out Tin Man Lures, those floating jig heads on your teaser. You will be going light in the shallow water. Dante and the Magic Tail folks and those little Magic Tails hoochie jigs, phenomenal. Also, don't discount just some of the straight jig heads. I mentioned it in the article in the Fisherman magazine. I think most of them are made by Hurricane. This one's by Tsunami. But you can keep it simple. A lot of times on a spinning outfit, I'm just going to have one of these jig heads. And then with my smaller light tackle conventional, I'm going to have a standard high-low rig. I really do enjoy this one. Joe Sansone from, he's the Crackhead Fluke. He sent this over to me. I had another rig around here too. Going back to Tsunami, if you get your pre-tied rigs, look for this one. It's got the holographic skirt on there. I'm a big fan of this. So hopefully you're all set with your gulp and your fish bites and all your baits. But again, keep it light because we are going to be in that skinny water for the opening. That's where a lot of those fluke are going to get up closer to the flats because that's where they want to find some of that warmer water as well. Bluefish are here, of course. We talked a little bit about the rumors last week, but after alluding to a catch or two last week, the racers have definitely arrived here at the Jersey Shore. Shark River, Monmouth County. That's where John Yacarino checked in down along the jetty rocks there. Got that photo from my friend Adam Aguiar. Plus, along another rock, the rock they call Brigantine, that's where Anthony P. weighed in an 8-pound, 4-ounce bluefish for the Riptide Bait and Tackle Spring Derby. So yeah, the racers are in. They're lean, but they're still heavy. Dave at Absecon Bay Sportsman Center this week showed that drags are definitely singing the blues, and not just one-offs, but perhaps it's time to go to the beach, the jetty, and take advantage of that bay invasion because that is officially underway. We're not just talking a periodic catch or two, but when they're here, and you know it. Check with Dave at Absecon Bay, by the way, this week. If you are fluke fishing on Sunday, probably flounder if you're in Absecon, but he's got a special, he's got some upcoming special family style events. And of course, he's got his flounder tournament to start the season. And of course, the season is here. Also in the surf line right now are those black drum. Dave and Gordon here had a couple of dinner table sized drum from the surf that they checked in down at Hands 2 Bait and Tackle in Cape May. So it's not just that Seaside Great Bay invasion to the north, but we are getting them in Cape May County too. In fact, just north of Cape May itself, Alicia stopped in by Boulevard Bait and Tackle with a 25-pounder from the beach, which I do believe was caught along the beaches of Sea Isle. Of course, we've been talking about that black drum invasion up inside Great Bay and the backside beaches near Seaside and along the upper Barnegat Bay stretches. Again, look for that in your Wawa, your tackle shop, the marina, wherever you might buy magazines. It's got that drum on the cover because you can go to page 26, Nick Honachesky's Banging the Drum Shallow Water Boomers story. to get you all rigged up. Very simple. Rigging up for drum, whether by beach or by boat. But you get all the tips for fishing snot rockets or riptide rodders, as Andy would put it. Check out the table of contents for the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition. Other features for New Jersey Delaware Bay anglers include tips and tactics for using sandworms all spring, all summer long, with Captain Dave DeGennaro out of Barnegat. Dave Anderson spotlights our coastal kayak clash. That has kicked off as of May 1st. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge has kicked off as of May 1st. Other articles in there include one from Tom P., Rack and Fin Radio, and a spotlight on New Jersey pike, pickerel, and muskie. Those are your local feature articles. And inside the May edition glossy, you will find this.
The May Glossy edition of the Fisherman magazine is out now. Tagging and Bragging is part 2 from New Jersey Delaware editor Jim Hutchinson on the striped bass tagging program and Striper Quest and how to get involved. Looking for a kayak? Let Long Island managing editor Matthew Broderick give you advice what may be the right kayak for you. Captain John Raguzzo has tips and tricks to keep that knife sharp and ready. Learn from New England editor Dave Anderson what artificial offerings are a natural selection when stripers are keyed in on menhaden. Intimidated when fishing at night? Nicholas Simioli has surf tips and tactics for plugging in the cover of night. Then check out New Jersey Delaware editors Jim Hutchinson's Tail End column. To get all this and more, be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine. When you subscribe, you get 12 glossy print editions, 26 digital editions to your inbox, this past weekend's reports, and full access to the website, and more. As a subscriber, you can also be part of the Dreamboat Challenge and win a new Steigercraft powered by Yamaha, and compete for a rigged-out kayak from Yak Attack in the Coastal Kayak Clash. Subscribe now.
Now, along the open beaches from Sandy Hook to Cape May and across the bay into Delaware, Indian River Inlet, as we alluded to last week with Eric Lewandowski catching some fish down there along the Indian River jetty rocks, striped bass action is starting to finally heat up along the open beaches. Wouldn't be surprised it's just a matter of days before folks heading out the inlets in search of something will encounter some of those striped bass as well. But more waves of varied size striped bass are moving in now from the ocean waters. In fact, that's what we're hearing in Raritan Bay as like new waves of fish continue to enter the bay. And it's only a matter of time now before those first post-spawn fish from the Chesapeake start arriving along the Jersey coast as well. Those big Chesapeake spawning monsters, probably within another week or two, will they start showing up along the front beaches. But spring-like weather, warming water temperatures, seems to have kicked those migratory tails and started moving those fish on. We talked about weak fish last week. Again, that's a tight-lipped group of people, but you might want to start throwing along those bulkhead, the bulkhead, the docks at night where you've got lights, the bridges, some of those Cape May inlet jetties as well. But it is also this warmer weather. As it's bringing bluefish and more stripers and weak fish into the mix, it's also allowing for more comfortable fishing conditions. Finally, especially this young man, Hunter Burke. He took off the jacket, stripped down into just a summer wear, and I guess Dad told me that he and Hunter had seen last week's video and he said, let's go, Hunter. We're going to go out. We're going to follow Jim's advice. They went down to Grumpy's, got some clam. They set up with high-low rig, high tide on Thursday. Within 5 minutes, Hunter here had his very first striper of the year. Well done, Hunter. Keep it going, my friend. Noel, one-stop bait and tackle in Atlantic City. Never one to mince words. He posted this to social media on Wednesday. He used the B word, blitz. It could be banging. could be banging. We are still getting good reports on Delaware River bass as well at this point. As soon as those fish have moved out of the Delaware, it's going to continue to bang, double banging, triple banging. They're mixing with the Chesapeake fish. They're mixing with some of those ocean fish. And then all of a sudden you've got these spawners dropping out of the Hudson in the coming weeks as well. So we are really lined up for the greatest time of year for striped bass fishing. And again, the Delaware still producing fish, just like the one on this week's digital weekly cover. That's Aaron Ross with that solid catch and release striped bass caught on a blug bag. Again, the headlines for the week tell the tale. Striped bass action is still not at full throttle yet, but it's getting hotter every single day. Tog may be done as of Wednesday until August 1st. But yes, we've got fluke kicking off on Sunday, and bluefish and weakfish are here at the Jersey Shore this weekend as we head into this very first weekend of May. May, it's an important time of year. Come in, come here a little closer. Come here, look at this. You see this? Yeah, it is a big, ugly, broken nose, that schnoz of mine, I get it. But I don't know if you noticed in the video last week, it was very red. Yeah, I went out fishing with Erwin Heinrich, Scales and Tails, last week. Sunny day, 5 hours out there on the boat, and never once put anything on my nose. So yeah, the schnoz itself, that's a family tradition. Although from time to time, I don't know when to keep my mouth shut, and that contributes to it as well. But that peeling, that is something you want to avoid. Don't be a Jim. Look at this photo. If your stomach can allow it. This is what it will lead to if you don't take care of your skin. I had Mohs surgery on my back several times where they're digging out those cancerous hunks of meat that comes from not wearing sun protection. The nurse comes in one day and I've got my camera phone. I'm trying to do one of these. She goes, "Would you like a picture of the hole in your shoulder?" I said, "Yes, please." That's what it looks like. May is officially Skin Cancer and Melanoma Awareness Month, and I encourage you to remember that. New this season from the folks at Bimini Bay Outfitters. I'm wearing it right now. I love these vented shirts with the back vent. You can roll it up, but they're great. This one happens to be special UV 50+ protection. You can find these shirts out there. I'm also wearing my hook sun protection shirt underneath. Usually this is the way I'll dress to go fluke fishing because I can dress in layers, same as I do in the winter. But I want to keep my skin covered up. I want a hat, just like the one you'll see here. If you want a Fisherman hat like mine, just go to the Fisherman magazine, hit our shopping area, go hit the shop button at thefisherman.com, top yourself off. Perhaps it's a good gift for Father's Day or Mother's Day coming up. A wide-brimmed hat is always a good thing. You can't go wrong with that. And after years of using various sunblock, I'm being real serious here because this is something you really need to pay attention to. I've had basal cell carcinoma, but the next step up after that, there's another carcinoma that's really dangerous. And of course, you've got melanoma as well. After years of using different sunblocks, I remember going 30 years ago using Bullfrog waterproof. It was the only waterproof skin sunblocker that there was. I love this stuff. It's been recommended to me from dermatologists in the Neutrogena 55, 155, 2,000. I think after 50, it doesn't really matter. But I'm telling you, I may be preaching. It's only because I've been in there in the doctor's chair while a doctor digs flesh out of my back and shoulders. And I do preach because I do care. A special 10-minute segment of Open Boat this week is dedicated to Skin Cancer and Melanoma Awareness Month and more of what you can do to protect yourself while fishing from the fair-skinned Jenny Ackerman.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat, and you can see here I put you in the shade because we have something very important to talk about. Today is May 1st, which marks the month of Skin Cancer and Melanoma Awareness. This runs the whole month long, so I wanted to make a special Open Boat dedicated to Skin Cancer and Melanoma Awareness, and you'll see I have some friends that are helping out along the way too. But you're probably saying, Jenny, you're young. Why are you talking about skin cancer? We don't have to worry about that till we're like 50. No, unfortunately, with my age demographic, I just turned 25, so that 25 to 35-year-old bracket are starting to see an increase in cases of skin cancer and specifically melanoma. And it's not just that bracket that's seeing it, it's people who spend a lot of time outside, aka, you know, us fishermen. We're always outside, whether we're cleaning fish after a long trip out, or we're cleaning up our boat, or standing outside, you know, hanging, like test casting, stuff like that. We're always outside. So us anglers have to be aware of the damaging UV rays, which is why, one, I decided to film the video outside, and two, why I put up this umbrella, because me and the sun, we don't have a good history together, and I'll get right into why we don't. So I want to share my own personal story of the follies of not protecting your skin from the sun. So usually, you know, when you see me fishing, I'm covered up. I know better. I'm in a long sleeve, I have a hat on. If the shirt has a hoodie, I got the hood on too. I'm wearing sunglasses, I have on my sunscreen. I'm very aware when I'm fishing. Other times, unfortunately not. There was one case last summer where I went to the beach and it was a cloudy, windy day, so I didn't think I needed to reapply my sunscreen. I put it on once and I laid out for maybe like 5 hours, which is really a long time to be laying out in the sun. But when I got home, I looked in the mirror and my skin was the color of my shirt. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. Following that, the next day, I was fainting, getting sick, and could barely sit comfortably from the pain of the sunburn on my entire body. So due to the fact that I was severely dehydrated and blacking out, fainting all over my house, I went to the urgent care. And if you know anything about severe sun poisoning, you know you're gonna get this. And this is something I don't advise you to ever have in your medicine cabinet. Not to say like you don't need it, but you don't want it. So by avoiding sunburn and severe sun poisoning, you're avoiding this. This is never something you want to have in your house, because you do not want to go through the stuff that I went through dealing with this severe sunburn. And obviously it was preventable, but I spent probably a week and a half miserable, like I kid you not, rotting in my own bed because I could smell my burning skin on me. Missing out on fishing, missing out on just going out and having fun in the summertime, missed out on a lot of good bites. So this is your wake-up call to hear my story and prevent it in the future for you. I have to be more careful now, but luckily with the help of Bimini Bay Outfitters and the Melanoma Research Alliance, we can prevent this in the future. So let's get right into it by introducing you to melanoma. Melanoma is the deadliest form of skin cancer. One person every hour, every day dies from melanoma. And if you've had more than 5 bad sunburns in your life, like me, you know, I have a couple under my belt, which is nothing to be happy about, you're at more of a risk to getting skin cancer. And another big thing with people susceptible to skin cancer: fair skin, blue eyes, light hair. They're much more susceptible to getting skin cancer, so heed my warnings as I move forward. And the worst statistic unfortunately seen with melanoma is that cases of it have tripled within the last 30 years, at a time when cancer rates for more common cancers have declined. So we've seen other common cancers decrease due to proper care. So this increase in skin cancer and melanoma could be factored into not wearing the proper protection. But the Melanoma Research Alliance is dead set on providing innovative treatments for melanoma, and they are the largest, most effective organization focused on melanoma research, and teamed up with Bimini Bay Outfitters to provide you guys the protection that you need while you're out there in the sun. So when you're going fishing, long-term exposure without the right precautions can come with risks. One bad case of sunburn could put you down for the count, like it happened with me last summer. anytime you're outside, you want to have the proper protection from the sun. So wearing a long sleeve shirt, that hoodie too, wearing a hat, sunglasses, and also your ears and your neck are high risk exposure spots. So neck gaiters, pop those on too. Sometimes your sweatshirt comes with the neck gaiter. Put that on while you're out there fishing, because it can save you from severe sunburn and future skin cancer. And then of course, you can wear sunscreen. Always pack your sunscreen too in addition to your clothing, but it's a lot easier to forget sunscreen, whereas not the clothes that you're wearing, because you know, if you walk out the door without a shirt on, you're gonna notice. If you walk out without your sunscreen in your backpack, you're probably not gonna notice. So always try to pack your sunscreen. They even make the chapstick sunscreen for your lips. And a big thing, pro tip, now that I have dealt with sun poisoning, do not buy spray lotion. Spray lotion, even when it's windy, you might not see if it's applicating on your skin. It might just blow away. And I like regular lotion, because you can see where you're putting it on you, and if you've missed spots, you can see that too. Bimini Bay has worked with the MRA to develop their go-to styles like the flat V, short sleeve and long sleeve shirt, the Everglades bucket hat, and the Hatteras hoodie to be officially endorsed by the MRA for their sun protection performance. One of the great things about Bimini Bay is that they're such a prominent clothing brand that they can be found at a lot of local tackle shops, and if you can't find it, you're gonna get it online. You can order all of their products online, and you can read about how they have the proper UV guard and have that seal of approval from the MRA. And now I'm gonna take you guys on a little field trip to a local tackle shop that supplies Bimini Bay Outfitters clothing. So welcome to Fisherman Supply in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, and they carry a wide range of all Bimini Bay Outfitters. And this right here is the featured Hatteras UV shirt that I talked about earlier in the video. And it comes in nice light colors. It also has the attached neck gaiter to protect your high risk areas like your neck and your ears. And it has the built-in hoodie. And honestly, you know, blue is my color, so I'm gonna go home with this, because you can never have enough UV shirts, not even for just when you're fishing, but anytime you're out in the sun when those UV rays are high, you should probably be wearing one of these. And you know, this looks good on me. So in closing, this is a message to my generation. You want to be really mindful. I know we can be thinking we're indestructible and not have to worry about things like this till we're older, but the sooner you take care of yourself, the better you're going to be in the future and more lasting in the future. So you got to think to yourself, the sunglasses tan line you get in the summer, it's not a good look. And the fact that you'll go on the beach and fry yourself to a crisp just to attempt to get a good tan that only lasts a couple of months into the fall and winter, it's not a good look. You know, fair skin is favorable, and you got less sunspots when you're avoiding the sun instead of soaking it all in. One of the biggest things is personal experiences. I have a lot of family members who have dealt with skin cancer, and they have to go to their dermatologist and get biopsies and get parts of their skin cut off, and now they have to wear this special sunscreen caked on their face and their body, and they always have to cover up and wear big hats, and they're always at risk of future sunspots and skin cancer coming up. So one of the biggest things that they say is they wish when they were younger that they wore the proper protection and applied sunscreen, because negligence is going to get you. You're not indestructible. Like, my generation thinks, you know, oh, I'm fine, I'm indestructible, but it's not the case. You have to be careful with all these things in the future. And thanks to Bimini Bay Outfitters and the Melanoma Research Alliance, we have one step to being closer to preventing melanoma, bringing those cases down and preventing it for future generations to come. Because let's be real here, cancer is no joke. Cancer is real. Anyone can get it. It is life-threatening. And personally, I don't want to see any of you guys get it. I don't want to see myself get it. That's why I have a dermatologist appointment coming up to check my body for sunspots. So I ask you guys to please take the advice and the personal stories that I told you guys in this open boat seriously and put it to good use, because only you can protect your skin and your future. And just remember to check out the Bimini Bay clothing that has been approved by the MRA for your next time you're going out fishing. And it doesn't even have to be when you're fishing, it's any time you're outside. You're at a baseball game, you're gardening, you're working on your truck in your driveway. Cover up, protect your skin so you have many, many, many more years of fishing to come. Food for thought. I'll see you guys on next week's Open Boat.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
Some events coming up this weekend to tell you about here at the Jersey Shore, but first let's check in with my friend George Schauer, the Pocono Outdoors guy, for his weekly freshwater update from Beltsville for the tri-state region.
Hey, thanks, Jim. You know, the parking lots are starting to fill up here on the lake. Lots of guys finally getting some decent weather to get out. You know, weather this past week, and what was a little nautical, you know, had some wind and some rain. Not real pleasant if you wanted to get out in a small boat or kayak, but a few folks did, especially those guys hitting that bi-state shad fishing contest. You know, it was a 4-day tournament, started last Thursday, ended on Sunday, and some guys stuck it out through all 4 days. Congratulations to all the anglers. Kyle Stant ended up getting first place with his 5.27 pound shad. That was a great catch, and congratulations to him and all the contestants. You know, there's a lot more categories in that contest. You can go on to shadfishingcontest.com and get all the results for that tournament. Also, just remember, guys, we had those shad coming up, but right after we had those stripers chasing them right behind in the river. We've seen them catching them in the tidal areas with those blood bags, bloodworms. Well, they're starting to move up in that shallow water, that non-tidal water, only a few feet deep, but you can still pull that 50-pounder out of the Delaware River up in those areas. So keep an eye out. You get those plugs to use, you get the swim shads like those NLBNs, all great baits for this time of year. Also, remember, we still got trout going on strong. I did have a check-in from Zach Borger. He checked in with a real nice palomino. He caught in Trout Lake in Slatington. So a lot of things going on, guys. Hopefully we'll have a real good weekend to get out and do a little more fishing. Hopefully better than last week, but go get on them. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
Are you the best angler in the Northeast? Well, now is your chance to prove it. The Fisherman's Dream Boat Contest is back. Win this Steigercraft center console powered by Yamaha along with these other great prizes. Fish hard and weigh in as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. What's the catch? You must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine. All it takes is one fish on the board to win a great prize. So however you fish, you have a shot. For all the details and official rules, visit thefisherman.com.
So if you're heading into Seaside, Island Beach, that particular area, maybe you're going to sling some snot around, fresh clam, looking for drum or striped bass, you might want to swing by the Berkeley Striper Club's 30th annual fishing flea market. It's outside at the J Street Marina open space there in Seaside. That's right across from Grumpy's. The event is run from 8:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Admission to the outdoor event, I believe, is $7. But the vendor list looks outstanding. A lot of great custom woods for you. Whether you want to hang them up or you want to hang fish from them. That's this Saturday, Berkeley Striper Club's Seaside 30th Annual Fishing Flea Market outside. Now, some of those good woods may come in quite handy if you're fishing the Bill Couch Catch and Release Striper Tournament presented by the Cape Atlantic Striper Club, which runs from May 3rd through May 10th. But you got to register by this Friday at 5 p.m. For details and registration, go to CapeAtlanticStriperClub.com. Now, from our May edition, the calendar of events on page 10, a few other upcoming fishing-related events for you. The Riptide Derby, of course, continues through the end of this month. The LBI Striper Derby with Bluefish included, that's going on through June. You can stop into Fish Heads Surf City Bait and Tackle, or Jingles to get in on that. But the entries are now finally starting to pile up in that tournament, so the timing is pretty good. And don't forget about Striper Quest. That's coming up on May 15th, based out of Gateway Marina in Highlands on the Raritan Bay. It should be a great event. I cannot wait to get back to tagging stripers. We've got 5 deployment boats for the pop-up archival tags. 5 more of those pricey $5,000 satellite tags will be put out on May 15th. But what we're looking for you and everybody else to do is participate in this tagging tournament. We hope to make this every year a bigger striped bass tagging event than the year prior. And we do have contest giveaways for folks who tag the most stripers. Also, we do have another season of the Association of Surf Angling Clubs, their tournaments. ASAC, that's underway. 3 events coming up in May. They just had the first event, I believe, this past Saturday. There were Bluefish in that event, but you can find all that out as well inside that May edition of the Fisherman magazine, the calendar of events. Got news briefs, get up to speed on everything that's going on for the month of May, fishing related in the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region. Again, I'll remind you to think about the fact that May is Skin Cancer and Melanoma Awareness Month. You and I spend a lot of time in the sun, and it's as important as possible to keep those ultraviolet rays from doing damage. They do damage, and they will kill you. They can kill you. UV protective shirts, whether it's the high performance shirt like I have underneath, the vented Bimini Bay here that I've got, cover up your skin, wear hat, wear sunglasses. You want to protect your eyes as well, perhaps a gator. And again, that sunblock is very important. I don't use banana boat anymore because it was bringing me bad luck. No bananas. But I do suggest or highly recommend the Neutrogena. Again, I'm telling you this from experience. The Bluefish invasion is underway. Here's another social media post from John at Betty and Nick's on Wednesday. Another guy who doesn't mince his words. Yes, black drums, striped bass, bluefish, weakfish, and come Sunday, it's summer flounder season again here at the Jersey Shore. Catch them up, stay safe, good luck on the fluke grounds on Sunday. And to paraphrase Sugar Boy Crawford and his cane cutters, panko all day. Giacomo Finanier. It's a very good year.